What's up, gang? How you guys doing? It is Lieutenant Sal Blue, 28-year law enforcement veteran, and the author of the top 25 mistakes en route to the good life. How you guys doing, man? I am here today with my daily podcast coming at you guys live, and I just wanted to talk about some things today, right? Great day today, beautiful day at work for me today. So even though I'm retired from my main job, I have another job, right? So I'm paying for college and all this other stuff that I'm taking care of. So I'm still in it to win it and still very young. So I'm trying to create a whole lot of other things, such as somebody told me you need to have a resource, something to tap into in order to build your other sources of income. So my resource right now is another job to help me to build my business, my book company, and so many other things that I want to work on and build. And it doesn't happen overnight, guys. It doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't happen with a quick flow of cash from a venture capitalist or something. Nobody's giving me any money to build this empire that I'm working on. So I'm doing it myself, guys. I'm doing it myself, bootstrapping it, bootstrapping it, as they like to say. So I'm out here making it happen, and it is real for me, guys. It is real for me. And so because it is real for me, every day I have to have a plan, right? Every day I have to have a plan for my grind. I just can't be grinding arbitrarily, just doing this like, you know, with no end in sight, or no true vision of what I want to do or how I'm going to do it. I have to have a plan, guys. So I have a plan to push and go and go and go, and I got my hours of the day, how many hours I'm going to do this thing, and how many hours I'm going to do that thing, and how many hours I'm going to do marketing, and how many hours I'm going to do writing, and so many other things that go into the business. And then so many things that I have no even clue what I don't know about my business, right? So there are things that I know, and I plan those out. But there are many other things and many other factors that I don't know of how multi-million dollar successful businesses run. Is where I like to be, obviously. And I don't know those things. So that is why I'm not at that level. I hope you guys understand this when it comes to building something that you want, right? When you begin to understand the steps, right, and then taking the actions within those steps, that is when you begin to get the product, or at least see the vision of the product that you're working on, and it gets you going and gets you all fired up, right? And for me, I've been going and going and going, right? Just going and just working hard and trying to connect with the right who, so I could get in the right direction. Now, in doing so, guys, I get tired. I get tired, and just like anybody else, I want to quit. I want to give up. Some tons of things go on in my head, right? Everybody has those thoughts. We talked about that yesterday. Who said that is what I told you guys to do when you start hearing those thoughts of you should quit, you're inadequate, so on and so forth. Who said that? Because they're not you. They're things that are placed in your mind by other people, and I want you guys to know that. But I also want you guys to understand this, right? There are signs. There are signs that pop up, right, in your life. Your signs within your productivity, signs within your relationships, signs within your health. All these different signs show up, and they show up for a reason, guys. They show up to tell you that the path that you're on, right? They're not telling you that it's wrong. The path that you're on, right, needs to be re-energized. Okay, needs to be refocused or redirected, or you may be off just a fraction. Just a fraction, just 1 degree, guys. But just think of this, right? If you launched a rocket from Earth to the moon and you were off 1 degree, you missed the moon by miles. So understand that when it comes to had that long-term goal, that thing that you're truly working on to become your best. And so, in saying all that, guys, I have a question for you today, right? A question for you today. And my question is, what is the sign you use to determine when you need to take a break, right? Or when you need to step it up? You need to understand those signs. And the only way, guys, you're going to begin to understand those signs is when you start to know yourself, right? And you really need to spend each and every day, as I do, with a yellow pad and paper and silence, man. Yellow pad and paper and silence, and just writing out your thoughts, man. Write what you're thinking about, and see if you can get a determination of when are your best times of productivity, right? When are the times that you begin to drift off, right? For me, it's usually about 40 minutes of hard focus, and then I start to drift a little bit, right? My mind starts to wander, and I want to reach for my phone and grab for my phone and do something non-productive, okay? So I have to understand that, okay, and implement things to stop me from doing those. Also, guys, you're more vulnerable and more susceptible to other people coming in and trying to get you to take a break from what you're doing. So you have to understand those moments, right? Your moments of vulnerability to outside sources, peers, be it family, be it children, be it wife, be it friends. You have to be familiar with how you respond to those, because there's going to be times where you're going to be deep in the grind, right? But you're going to start to drift just a little bit, just enough for somebody to come over and say, hey, listen, hey, you want to take a break? You want to go get a drink? You want to go get that? And then your productivity for the rest of the day is shot. So you got to understand that, right? So me, personally, I try to spend every day of my life with a purpose, right? And this is one of the things that I tell myself, guys, and maybe you should tell yourself this as well, if you haven't gotten going the way you need to get going, right? I tell myself that if today, right, didn't have a purpose, right, for my life, that is, if I didn't have a purpose for my life today, I would not have opened my eyes this morning, right? So if you opened your eyes this morning, obviously you did because you're listening or watching this podcast, that means your life has a purpose. That means you have a purpose. There is a reason why you opened your eyes today. As Steve Harvey said, God's not done with you yet, right? He's not done with you yet. You have unrealized potential that you need to begin to work on. And in order to work on that unrealized potential, what you need to start doing is you got to start knowing yourself. And it starts with knowing the signs, right? Now, this morning, right, during my morning commute, I like to listen to podcasts during my morning commute before I get on my little morning phone calls with my best friend Tracy. So I do my morning commute, and during my morning commute today, I was listening to Gary V. I listen to Gary V every now and then, not really podcasts, just some of the blogs and probably YouTube videos and stuff that he has. So I'm listening to Gary V this morning, and he talked about doing his wine library show for 3 years. 3 years before anyone even cared. /GAF. You know what GAF stands for, right? Gave a fuck, right? 3 years before anybody even cared. And he still pushed it, kept going, and look at him now, right? Look at him now and look what he's doing. And when I hear stories like this from Gary V and my other mentor, Russell Brunson, I think to myself, how many times, right, have I given up too soon? How many times have I quit, right, before the finish line? Have you thought about that? Have you given that some thought, guys, when you hear this? Because a lot of times we have an unrealistic view of how long it's supposed to take us to achieve the success level that we want. And sometimes even when we get to the success level that we want, we see somebody else doing something a little bit better because we're at a higher level in our life, and we become dissatisfied with the success level that we have. That's what we do. We are never truly appreciative of where we're at in the moment. And the only way to do that, guys, is to have a purpose. Is to have a purpose and to understand the signs of when you need to step it up and when you need to take a break, guys. So I'm gonna tell you, right, the thoughts, right, the thought of me giving up too soon, it fuels me now. It fuels me every day. Every day it fuels me. It gets under my skin of the many times where I could have achieved something in an area that I felt that I was passionate about, and I just let it go. I let it go because I felt that I wasn't going to get there soon enough. I was impatient, right? I was impatient with that, and that's because I didn't know myself, guys. I didn't pay attention to the signs. So now every day that I'm fueled with that, every day that I make sure that I'm doing something that moves me forward, while also, guys, also eliminating people and habits, right? It's so important. You got to pull certain people out of your life and just sit them on the sideline, right? And you got to get rid of some of your old habits. Your old habits that attempt to keep you at status quo. I have so many people that used to be a part of my life that just wanted me to remain the same. You're good just the way you are. You know, they would tell me that all the time. You're good just the way you are. Don't worry about it. Chill out. You know, it's okay. And those people aren't going to help you move forward because those people blind you, literally. They blind you from seeing the signs that you need to see, right? They kind of keep you clouded, like you're walking in a fog when you hang around those type of people. And because you hang around those same type of people that allow you to stay in that status quo, you do a lot of the same bad habits, the bad habits that stop you from being successful in the first place, guys. So understand that, right? Now, there are so many things that come along in life that move you off of your path. But there is one thing, guys, one thing that eventually gets us all, right? No matter who you are. If you're a human being, right? That one thing, and I want you to pay close attention to this, right? That one thing is getting tired. That's right. I said it, getting tired, right? If you are human, then you already understand that rest is essential, right? And this podcast isn't about rest, right? It's about knowing the signs that you need rest, right? And so the reason why I speak about rest is this, because I get it, guys. If there are some people out there, right, that say that they could just function every day with just 4 hours, right? 4 hours of sleep, that's all they need, and they're functioning at their optimal levels and getting things done, more done than most people. Then there are other people out here who need 8 hours sleep, right? And if they don't get their 8 hours sleep, they are done. They're non-productive and they can't make it happen. And I tell people all the time, it is mostly about conditioning, how you condition yourself and how you condition your life to operate at your optimal levels. Now, for me, it's about 6 hours for me as far as how I can operate at my optimal level when it comes to conditioning and having a rest, taking a break, and hitting the reset button. So, conditioning your mind and your body to function at a certain level it takes reps and sets, guys. And I say that all the time, it takes reps and sets. Because rest or sleep or needing rest is one human condition. We must be able to know the signs, right, of when our productivity has fallen below our standards. See, the importance of rest, right, is when you are working towards your purpose. And that intensity level that you have is here, right? And you need to maintain that same level of intensity so that when that hill starts going up, you can hit it going full speed and use the momentum from your intensity to make it up the hill, to make it over that current obstacle. If, as you're moving toward that hill, before you hit it, right, your intensity level starts to drop because you need rest, guys, then you won't make it up the hill. You'll make it halfway up the hill and maybe even roll back and lose some of the momentum that you currently been working on. So that is why you have to know the signs. And in order for you to know the signs, guys, you got to know yourself, right? And this is why I stress the importance of spending time each day, guys, each day spending time, right, getting to know yourself. Getting to know yourself, pen and paper, 15, 20 minutes a day in silence, just writing out some of the thoughts of what you're thinking about and when you're at your best and when you're at your worst, right? Now, when you do this, you'll begin to see the signs, guys. You'll begin to see these signs. And these signs will let you know when you need to take a break, right, from your daily grind, right? Because hopefully if you're watching this, you're on your grind and you're trying to make something positive happen in your life, right? And so if you see this, it'll be your daily grind and you'll start to see the signs that your productivity is starting to slow down and you need to take a break. Now, or it'll also let you know, right, that you need to increase your intensity. The signs will show you, right? If you're not getting something that you're currently working on and how you've been achieving it. Like for me, example, writing books, right? I tell myself I got to get a certain number of pages done a day, a certain amount of words I need to write a day when I write my books. And I start looking at my productivity level for the week and I start to see the markers on it and I say, okay, man, I only wrote 5 pages and I did, a week's worth of research on those 5 pages and I'm not getting where I need to go. So I'll have to increase my intensity, increase the quickness of what I'm working on or how I'm doing it. Do a lot more writing and a lot less thinking and contemplating, I guess, is the point I'm trying to make, guys. But knowing yourself, you will start to see the signs of productivity, reduced productivity, or whatever you need to do, guys. So I was talking about that. Now, for me, right, I have my schedule of the many things I need to complete each day, right? So each day I have 3 mandatory goals I have to do and a whole schedule of things from my workout to family time. It's all scheduled, guys. And so I have them written out so that I can move closer to my goal so I can kind of see how I'm trying to figure this all out in my life, right? And I hope that all of you guys are doing the same, having everything written down, right? But I also have other things that I have written down or that's important to me. I have my family and relationship connection goals. So my productivity goal may be for business, right? And I'm moving my life forward, but my life cannot move forward without some of the most important factors in my life that when I get there, I need them there with me so I can enjoy the future of my labor. And those people are my family and my closest friends. And so there's no need for me to work all intensely, right, and get somewhere and my whole family's back there and we have no connection between all of us. So it's very, very important for me to stay connected with my family and those family goals. Now, knowing this, I have to pay attention to the signs, man. I have to pay attention to the signs that I am losing my connection with my family, right? And this is especially when I'm too deep into my business or whatever I'm working on, my writing, and I've just totally zoned out and now I'm not connected with my family. I have to pay attention to the signs. Comments from my wife or comments from my children or maybe they're acting out or acting different, or they're starting to spend more time in their room instead of time in the common areas of the household. And I know when that happens, I've spent far too much time totally and completely focused on my own goals to move the finances and everything else forward, and not focusing on the overall goal of making sure that I have that connection with the people that are most important to me. So I have to pay attention to those signs, guys, right? I also have to watch the signs from reduced productivity, right? So when I'm working and I start to see my productivity starting to slip a little bit, I have to pay attention to the signs of that. One of the things I noticed about myself is that about 6 hours of sleep is my optimal operational limit, right? Anything less than 6 hours of sleep, I can't function past 12 hours. So 6 hours of sleep, I can go 12 hours of hard work, whether it's standing, whether it's communicating with people, whether it's writing. I can go a full 12 hours on 6 hours sleep. And then I need some type of nap, some type of break or whatever. And I'm also more of a daytime person and not a nighttime person as well. So at nighttime, even though I do my evening podcast, shortly after my evening podcast, when I'm working on maybe doing some editing or whatever I'm doing, I'm also get tired and sleepy during that time. So I have to figure out some of the things and tricks that I need to do in order to keep me productive in the evening with only 6 hours of sleep a day. So let me ask you guys this question, right? What are your signs that you need, that tell you need to take a break? What are the signs, right? I tell you right now, you need to make a list of the signs that you need to take a break. What is the list of things that you need to do, right? Or a list of things that you see within yourself. Now, I'll give you an example. Now, for me, I think one of the most visible things, right? Most visible things that I see when it comes to me taking a break is me reaching for my phone. Me reaching for my phone and jumping into the social media platform and just trying to indulge in anything that catches my eyesight. Anything that gives me some burst of mental stimulation, whether it's humor, whether it's sexual, whatever it is, guys. Something to give me that moment of ha ha ha, look at that, or that's funny, or that's cute, or whatever it is, right? And so when I start doing that, right, I then realize that I must take a break from whatever I was doing, and it will stop me from jumping into the social media platform and some of the things. Another thing that I made sure that I did in my social media platform is I unfollowed everybody just about. Well, if I didn't unfollow them, I blocked them. And I try to fill my social media with just people who I'm working with in business, or people who I would like to work with, or people who I would like to interview for my podcast, whatever it is. I try to make it so that if I grab my social media and look at it, it's not just a bunch of entertainment, but I'm hearing things and listening to people who can help me to move forward, people who I would like to have in my circle of influence. So that is one of the things that I did to block myself from falling back on old habits, and so that when I don't see the signs, right, I open up my phone, and the first thing I see on social media is maybe one of my Dream 100 people, and they're talking about being a consumer of social media as opposed to being a producer of social media, and it gets me back on track, guys. So that's just one of the things that I use, right? So, but being tired, that is one of my triggers, right? That is one of my triggers that totally and completely throws me off my game, right? Another one of my triggers is maybe I'll have an issue or disagreement with my family members, right? Whether my wife or whether it's my daughters or whatever. And because I'm tired, right, I become just argumentative over things that don't even make any sense, guys. Things that aren't even important. Things that I could just say, okay, you got that, let's move forward with it. So that is another one of my triggers. And so I pay attention to that stuff when I am either building relationships or whether I'm working on my business or whether I'm writing my book. These things are my list of triggers. And because I spend time and write them things down, I now know that they're there, and so I see them. They stand out, when I'm not doing what I need to do, right? Now, I'm telling you guys, a lot of people talk about grind, 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 hustle, 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 and I get it. I get it, man, especially if you don't have much. If you don't have much in your life or you haven't achieved much in your life, I get it how people tell you to grind and hustle. But you have to build up to that. You have to build up your hustle muscle, right? You have to build up your grinding muscle. You have to build that up through sets and reps. And you're not going to get there overnight, right? So if you're not used to reading for 6 hours a day because you're studying, whatever you're doing, then you'll have to do it in 10-minute blocks to start, then 20-minute blocks to start, then 40 minutes, then 60 minutes, then 2 hours, so on and so forth. You have to build that muscle up over time. That is how you get better, guys. But you got to stay consistent. So just to fall back on what Gary Vee said about 3 years before anybody cared about his wine library, it's going to take some time sometimes, guys. Every story that somebody became a millionaire from zero to a millionaire in 6 months, it's not going to work for everybody, right? But I'll tell you what, if you constantly work on building that muscle and learning yourself, okay, you can holler out 0 to 6 months 5 years from now, right? So 5 years from now, you built yourself all the way up to the level of where you can go from where you're at to a millionaire, or where you're at to an incredible relationship, or where you're at to a very productive business, or where you're at to a top-selling author. But it's going to take some time to build up that muscle and get the foundational things in, guys. The foundational things comes with, number one, knowing the signs of when you need to take a break, and number two, understanding the signs of when you need to increase the intensity to get the most out of that moment. Because that's what it's all about, guys. It's about getting the most out of each block, each moment in your life that also, as I said before, it needs to be planned out, guys. A good life is a planned life. Understand that and remember that. So, as I said before, guys, don't be afraid to take a break because a break can fix you. Right? I told you, when I'm going, and I get tired and I do dumb crap, I take a break and I back off from it. I walk around a little bit. I stretch, maybe do some push-up, maybe have a brief conversation with my wife or whatever. And I come back to what I'm doing and it fixes me. It fixes my mindset and I'm able to get back into my work and what I'm doing, guys. Right? If it is needed, guys, this is what you do. Just don't arbitrarily just take breaks, right? If you're starting to watch your productivity go down, step away, take a break. I like to go 5 to 10 for every 45 minutes of hard work. And that seems to be a good formula for me. But I built up to that. I wasn't always able to go 45 minutes hard. It didn't even matter what I was doing, right? I used to be able to go like 20 minutes before I started getting distracted, and then it was 30 minutes, and now it's like 45 minutes. But if it's something truly intense for me, I could probably go an hour, 2 hours sometimes without taking a break. So you got to build up that level, guys, and you got to do that through reps and sets, and understand, man, it is not always going to be easy, right? Also, guys, make sure you don't take too long of a break, right? I told you 5 to 10 minutes, especially when you're truly into something. But a lot of people, they take breaks from their work and things that they're doing, and they don't get back to it. They don't get back to it, and you want to know what happens when you make it a habit of taking a break from something that you're doing intensely and you don't get back to it? That becomes a habit in your life, right? You start to take breaks from all types of things in life, and you never end up completing the things that are most important to you guys. So listen, I'm going to wrap it up. Speaking of that, it's getting late, so I'm going to wrap it up for tonight, guys. But I just want to tell you guys, thank you for jumping on and listening to me for my daily podcast. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep going each and every day. My ultimate goal is every single day for 3 years, right? Every single day for 3 years, daily podcast. And we'll see how it's going to work out, man. We'll see how in 3 years, man, where I'm at, how I'm talking, the conversations I'm having, and how many books I'm going to write for you guys. So I'm going to keep writing. I'm not going to stop doing that as well with my daily podcast. And hop on over to Lieutenant Sal Blue and check me out, guys. I'll give you a free autographed copy of my book, Top 25 Mistakes En Route to the Good Life. Tons of goodness in this book, guys. Tons of goodness. Also, man, if you want to connect with me, go to Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, and my Facebook group, Top 25 Mistakes En Route to the Good Life. And that's it for today, man. I'm going to wrap it up, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. You guys have a fantastic evening, all right? Deuces.